Hi, I'm Fred.
I'm Adrienne.
And we're FnA.
If this is your first time here, welcome.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell.
So you'll be notified every time we upload a new video.
That's right. And today, we're talking about Loki episode 5.
Now streaming on Disney Plus.
And then, oh my god, they just keep getting better and better and better.
I know.
It's like, WandaVision was awesome.
Yeah.
The Falcon and Winter Soldier was awesome.
Yeah.
This is just beyond awesome.
Clearly
my favorite.
I'm bummed out because there's only 6 episodes.
Right.
I want it to be more than 6 episodes.
I would definitely take more.
Yeah.
I'll take whatever I can get.
Yeah, I know. But season 2. There's going to be a season 2.
Yes.
And we don't know if that's going to take place right after this finale.
Right.
Or if it's going to take place after the movies like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, So we don't know how it's going to go.
We'll find out after next couple of days.
Yep. Well, the title of this episode is Journey into Mystery.
That's right. And actually, Journey into Mystery is where Loki made his first appearance in Journey into Mystery number 85.
Ah,
Yep.
Nice.
Pretty sweet.
I know. Well, episode starts off right where we left off. Loki getting pruned, and he wakes up in the void.
The void.
Yeah.
And as we're coming in on this opening shot, we're zooming in to where Loki's laying, and he meets these other 3 Lokis. But on our way, we get our first couple Easter eggs in this episode.
You call it Easter Egg Island.
Easter Egg Island.
Yeah.
They should have named the episode Easter Egg Island. You get a quick shot of Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yep.
You just see a bunch of these goofy little birds. You see them better later in the episode, but they're kind of scattered all throughout the opening shot as well. And then if you take a good close look at Avengers Tower, Stark Tower, it doesn't say Stark. It says Kang, Qeng, but it's pronounced the same way. And in the comics, that's actually reference to Kang Enterprises. They purchased Avengers Tower from Tony Stark. And after a long ordeal with their supervisor, Mr. Griffin, they find out that he was involved with Kang the Conqueror.
Ah.
So
Wow.
just another clue pointing to who may or may not be behind the curtain.
Yeah. Well, after the void, we're back at the TVA, and Sylvie still has Ravonna as her hostage. Mm-hmm. And Ravonna, trying to get out of it a little bit, she tells Sylvie, what if I told you Loki's not dead?
Right.
Sylvie's, oh, yeah, come on.
She ain't buying it yet.
Yeah. And Ravonna tells her that, she wants to find out who's behind the TVA as well.
Right.
Because she wants to know who's been lying to her this entire time. Because we see that, the, sacred timekeepers, they were fake.
They weren't real.
No.
Turned out to be a couple, as Sylvie called them, mindless androids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Ravonna tries to explain to her that, Loki's not dead. When we prune him, we prune him to a branch timeline
She explains to her that when they prune a branch reality, it doesn't actually get erased.
Yeah.
It gets transferred from one point to another, and it gets sent to the end of time, right before. I guess we'll find out later. What's right before it? So, but yeah, they transfer it from one spot to another.
It's a little confusing, like hearing her explain it, but you kind of get the gist of it.
I got it.
Yeah. Well, back at the void, Loki, he's confused, and I feel bad for him because he has no idea what's going on. And we see, you got boastful Loki. You got classic Loki, young Loki, and our favorite...
And Gator Loki.
Gator Loki.
Yeah, I love it.
And these are all variants, and he has no idea. He's confused, and they're telling him, hey, when you're pruned, this is where you end up.
Right. The TVA had tracked every single one of them down, and we get a little deeper with each one of their backstories later, but the TVA they pruned each and every one of these guys and sent them all here.
Yes. And the one big thing that's keeping them there is this giant monster. It's like a cloud monster.
Oh, yeah. Goliath.
Yeah.
Goliath, the temporal cloud wolf, is what I'm calling him in the show. Goliath is a trans-temporal being that destroys all that it touches. Made its first appearance in Avengers: The Terminatrix Objective #1 in July of 1993. Most of its appearances in the comics have also involved Kang the Conqueror, so here's another clue pointing to who may or may not be behind the curtain.
Yeah. I'm thinking it's Kang. Some people are thinking it's a variant of Loki.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
I've been going back and forth.
Yeah.
On which it could be.
Yeah.
So.
After, they're talking and he's finding out about Goliath, and Goliath doesn't let anybody leave. They go to their little underground bunker, and there's an Easter egg here as well. It shows them going to this underground bunker, which turns out to be like a bowling alley.
Mm-hmm.
But it shows in the dirt there is a Thor in a jar, but it's Frog Thor.
Frog Thor.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump back real quick. And once we first showed up back here in the void again, I didn't know when to throw this in there because there is just a slew of Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump in real quick. And as they were walking through the void, the first thing they see is this old wooden ship.
That's right.
Now, I didn't think about it at first, but after a while I was wondering, could this be the ship of Theseus?
From WandaVision.
From WandaVision, maybe.
Yep.
There was a giant UFO-type spaceship. We've seen that in the background. Loki meets the other Lokis. Red Skull's weird Nazi ship from the first Captain America movie. There was a portion where Red Skull jumped in this jet, and the propeller, it rotated very strange.
Yeah.
You could see the rubble of one of those kind of sticking in the ground. There's a giant Yellow Jacket helmet. Yellow Jacket being the villain from the first Ant-Man movie.
That's right.
The last we've seen of Darren Cross, Scott Lang zapped him with the little disc, and he just shrunk into nothing. Mm-hmm. We also just found out the other day that he is confirmed to be coming back for Ant-Man 3.
Ooh.
Along the way, we see the greatest Easter egg I have ever seen in my entire life. The yellow Thanos helicopter. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would see this in a Marvel property.
Yeah.
In a movie, in a show, or anything.
I had no idea.
Well, in Avengers Endgame, Thanos' dual-sided sword, and remember how he kind of spun it? Mm-hmm. That was to reference his helicopter. And we all thought that was all we were going to get as far as that Easter egg went.
Yeah.
But no, they threw the straight up, they just threw the whole helicopter in here.
Yep.
Spidey Super Stories number 39 in March of 1979 is where that first showed up.
Okay.
Right next to that helicopter, there was a giant bomb. It possibly being the nuke from the first Avengers movie that Tony Stark took up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they arrive at the variant Loki's Hideout.
Yeah, that's the bowling alley where they're at.
Yes, and as she said, when they pan down through the ground, we get a shot of a full-size Mjolnir and the poor guy in a jar. It was Throg, and it said T-365, and that was for Thor number 365, which was Throg's first appearance in February of 1986.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but that shot gave me a little bit of anxiety. I felt so bad for that little frog.
I'm so claustrophobic.
Stuck inside that jar, and who knows how long he's been in there.
Yeah.
And as Guardians, do they have to eat? Or, you know what I mean? They live 5,000 years.
Yeah,
How long has that poor guy been in there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm very claustrophobic. Oh, it's like being buried alive.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Back to the bowling alley.
Yeah, back to the bowling alley. Young Loki was saying that his Nexus event was he killed Thor. That was his Nexus event.
Yeah, he told him that when they were walking to the bowling alley.
Yeah,
there.
when they were walking to the bowling alley.
Right.
Real quick, we jump back to the TVA before we find out the other Loki's Nexus events, and this is where Miss Minutes shows up.
Okay.
Because Ravonna is asking her to find all these files on the beginning of time.
Right.
And I noticed that she keeps looking down at her temp pad, and all of a sudden, these guards show up, and they're going after Sylvie. Sylvie pruned herself so she can go to be where Loki's at.
Well, during this segment here, we get some interesting dialogue between the characters. Ravonna, she had asked about these files of the beginning of time. Sylvie's the one that suggested, well, what about the end of time?
That's right. Yep.
And referencing what she had told her earlier about how that instead of erasing these branch timelines, they were transferring them. She figured out that they could, that the TVA couldn't be able to track them there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now they're trying to figure out how they're going to get there, and Ravonna is stalling.
Yeah.
Right? And Sylvie gets irritated, and she's like, well, I don't have any more use for her. And then Miss Minutes jumps in and says, what about the prototype ship?
Yeah, the spacecraft or whatever.
Okay, she's the one that brought it up. There's more to that character.
Yeah, she's not just a...
If you watch, like I was saying, if you watch her facial animation expressions, they are concern, worry.
Yeah.
Right? She knows what's going on. There's
She's
intelligence.
Not just a computer.
No,
yeah.
There's intelligence to her, and there's more to her, and we're going to find out something more about her in this next episode.
I hope so. I do. I like Miss Minutes. I think she's cute. Well, yeah, like I was saying, Sylvie, she pruned herself because I think she wants to get to Loki.
Well, she knew she already had found out that if she pruned herself, that she would get transferred to this void where the other Loki was. She didn't know anything else. She didn't know about Goliath or all these other variants or anything else. So it was a pretty risky move on her part.
Yeah.
But she was kind of at a dead end where she was at the moment.
Yeah.
She knew the timekeepers weren't there. She knew they weren't real. And she needs to link back up with Loki, and they need to work together
and find out what the hell's going on.
Yep.
Back at the bowling alley.
Yes.
The Loki's hideout. This is where...
Before you get into their dialogue, in this bowling alley, if you look in the background, you can see a Polybius video game.
Okay.
Okay, the arcade-style cabinet. Polybius was basically a 1980s conspiracy that it was a video game created to control the minds of people, supposedly created by the government or aliens or some shit, and it showed up, and then it mysteriously disappeared. Eventually, it never existed.
Yeah.
It became like a cultural phenomenon and / conspiracy, and people started, oh yeah, I remember seeing that game or whatever. They never seen it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that they threw it in here.
That is cool. Boastful Loki is talking, I'm guessing this is his Nexus event. He says that he killed Captain America and Iron Man. And after that, he claimed his prize, which was all 6 Infinity Stones.
Right, and then they all laughed at him.
Yeah. Actually, Gator Loki growls.
And rolls his eyes. If you pay attention,
Yep.
his eyes flicker.
And that was him calling him a liar.
Right.
So he gets all pissed off and says, at least my Nexus event wasn't eating the wrong neighbor's cat.
Right. So is that what Gator's
I think that was
event
Gator's
He ate the wrong cat. Don't be eating cats.
Old Loki, a.k.a. Classic Loki.
Yes.
He explains that in his timeline,
I hope he comes back in some shape, form, and capacity. I love Richard E. Grant as Classic Loki.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, he says that everything proceeded correctly his entire life until Thanos attacked his ship.
Yes.
And we get a little bit
hold on. Old Loki tells his story, which turns out to be really, really interesting. Okay. He tells his version of meeting Thanos in Endgame. And that instead of confronting Thanos,
stabbing him
like all the other Lokis did, he hid and cast a projection of himself, an illusion of himself, so realistic that it fooled the Mad Titan.
Which is Thanos.
And then he floated amongst the debris.
Yeah.
He's, as he said, inanimate debris for a long time until he finally set up on some secluded planet and lived in solitude for many, many years until he got lonely and decided to, he wanted to go see his brother Thor and see if he missed him. And as soon as he tried to leave the planet, the TVA showed up and took him away.
Yeah, he said as soon as he took 1 foot off the planet.
Right.
They came and nabbed him up.
Is this a hint or a clue to how our Endgame Loki could have survived that situation? And I don't care how many times Eric Voss wants to claim this theory as his own. We didn't have a channel to brag about it, but we said the same thing. Many people have called that same theory.
Yeah.
That Loki definitely could have survived
and
that
Eric
situation.
Voss thinks that he's the only one that came up with it.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. There's other people out there.
And then he also explains to the other Lokis that their knives, their blades, their swords are weak in comparison to a Loki sorcery.
Yes.
And then that the blades actually stunt their magical potential.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Well, our Loki in the show here, he wants to kill Goliath, and he's trying to find a way.
He tries to rally the troops.
He tries to find a way to rally the troops, and they all laugh at him. So he goes off on his own, and as soon as he climbs up the ladder and opens up the hatch, we see like how many other variants of Loki.
A whole new dozen of Lokis,
including an actual another Tom Hiddleston Loki, which was the Vote Loki.
Vote Loki, yeah.
Yes.
This Loki is a variant that ran for president in Vote Loki #1 in June of 2016, and this comic run was basically a play on the 2016 presidential elections.
Yeah.
In that comic, Loki ran under America. If I were your president, I'd have the guts to lie right to your face, and you'd love it.
Yep.
That sounds like Loki.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we see Sylvie. She wakes up.
Yep, she wakes up in the void.
Bus. In the void, in an abandoned bus. And you said it looks like a nest?
If you look, because it's quick. Like, she gets up, and she doesn't stick around very long.
Yeah.
She looks like it's some type of large bird's nest, maybe. Or some people were kind of speculating maybe it's a variant of Groot. If you remember in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Groot had grown like a ball around them.
To protect
them during the crash. And it could be remnants of that.
Very well could be. Once she wakes up in the bus, she sees
Goliath. Yeah, he immediately attacks her.
And she goes flying. And at one point, she actually connects with him. And she can see a very, very fast, like, split-second image.
Yes, a real quick montage of images.
Yes.
There's a large asteroid. I went through this, and I went frame by frame and tried to get as many details as I could. There's a large asteroid-type rock floating in space. It's just a void in space. We don't know if this is actual space or the quantum realm or something new. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's very colorful. The colors are very similar to what we have seen in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Also, some people are pointing out that the colors match Kang's colors.
Ooh.
From the comic books. So, the images move quick, but they as they pass by, they're continually zooming in on this rock, and eventually we see some type of a fortress.
Yeah.
Then we zoom in on the doorway, and on the doorway there are statues on both sides of the doorway. Each is an hourglass. Then it zooms upwards on the building to where that glowing orange tower was.
Looks like a lighthouse.
It looks like some type of a lighthouse
Some
or a
sort,
power source.
Yeah.
Or it's a lookout tower that they can look through all the time from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it definitely highlighted that tower.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts back to Sylvie, and we see Mobius. We see a car.
It's like a pizza car.
Pizza delivery car, but it's Mobius and Mobius, and she jumps in, and he goes, "You really ought to be careful jumping into strangers' cars like that."
Yeah. It's
Wow.
funny. Whoa.
Wow.
At the hideout, we see all the other Lokis.
Yes.
You know, they come in. And boastful Loki, we find out that he actually betrayed young Loki, classic Loki. So all the variants start fighting.
Yes.
And Gator Loki jumps up and bites Vote Loki's hand off. And his scream was the funniest scream I ever heard in my life.
If you listen, even after it the frame goes off of him, you can still hear him screaming in the background. It's pretty good.
So they're all practically killing each other, and classic old Loki, he creates this like portal, and
first he creates an illusion of all four of them.
Oh,
he
that's
creates
right.
an illusion of him, our Loki, boastful Loki, Kid Loki, and Gator Loki, and as soon as the illusion appears, Kid Loki chucks the Gator Loki at one of the other ones.
That's right.
And then old classic Loki, he creates a portal, and they escape.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, before we move on, I want to jump back real quick to where Mobius had picked up Sylvie, because there was a few Easter eggs we missed there.
Okay.
As they're driving in this pizza car trying to get away from Goliath, in the distance you can see the Pyramid of Giza, and
that's right,
and the Sphinx with a nose. And this is another hint towards Kang the Conqueror. Not only in his city of Chronopolis did he have a copy of the Pyramid of Giza and the Sphinx, but he also, when he first started his journey, he stole time technology from Doctor Doom, and stole a time ship from Doctor Doom, and made it look like the Sphinx, and used it to travel back to 800 BC to become Ramatut and start his journey as Kang the Conqueror.
Well, how about that?
How about that?
Well, while they're walking, the Lokis, Sylvie and Mobius, they meet up. They finally meet up.
Yes.
And it was so cute. Loki went running to Sylvie, and I thought they were going to hug her.
You said Sylvia Mobius.
Oh, shit, sorry. Loki.
Sylvia Loki
went running up to Sylvie.
I thought they were going to have a smooch or a hug.
I did too.
I really did. I really thought we were going to get a smooch or a hug, because Loki, he was boner running.
Yeah.
He was.
Absolutely.
Super excited.
He explains to them, Loki explains to Sylvie and Mobius that he wants to kill Goliath. Sylvie's like, I want to enchant him. I connected with him, and I feel that I can seriously get through and enchant him and find out, because she believes on the other side, like through him, they're going to find their answers.
Okay.
Because they weren't finding answers at the TVA about the timekeepers and all this crap, so she thinks that Goliath is the answer. So they actually have a cute moment. They go to, where do they end up at? The building where Mobius is inside talking with young Loki and Gator Loki and all them.
We missed something here. We missed the part where classic Loki and Kid Loki, before they reunite. Okay, before Sylvie and Mobius and Loki reunite with each other.
Yeah.
Classic Loki and friends, they all go out, and remember, Kid Loki had that strange device.
Ooh, I forgot about that. That's my dad.
And they took him out to this, it was a big opening in the void, and I think it was some type of a tracker.
Yeah.
All right, because it took them to where an event was about to happen. And a version of the USS, oh, hell, Eldridge.
Okay.
The USS Eldridge appeared, like, basically out of nowhere and dropped into the void. Loki and them are watching to see what Goliath does, right? Because they're trying to come up with their plan of attack. Goliath comes down and just wipes this boat out instantly. The boat was firing its cannons and artillery. It didn't even phase Goliath. And if you slow it down, when the clouds touch the humans, they turn into fleshy skeletons instantly.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Now, the USS Eldridge was a ship rumored to be involved in the Philadelphia experiment back in the 50s.
Okay.
And the conspiracy is that using this high-tech military technology, they were able to render the ship invisible.
Okay.
Years later, it came out that it was all a hoax and it was made up and it never actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the story behind it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Then,
Then
they have their reunion, and then we were jumping to where Loki was, classic Loki, and a few of them were inside this old building around a fire.
Yes.
And Mobius is talking about not remembering ever getting an alligator version of Loki.
That's, you said, the second time he doesn't remember something.
Right.
So could that be the TVA erasing his memory so many times, or is there another variant of
Mobius?
Yeah,
right.
because they were told that they're all variants.
Exactly.
So could there be another Mobius around
Yeah.
the TVA or something that we don't know about?
We don't know yet.
We have no clue. Well, while him and Gator and Young and Classic Loki are all talking about that, our Loki and Sylvie are outside, and they're sitting on the hill, and they're like, trying to, come up with their plan to go after Goliath, and it was a cute moment.
It was like
Loki conjured a blanket.
Like they reminded me of like kid love.
Yeah.
It was awkward. They didn't know how to be around each other.
I was waiting for a kiss there.
Yep.
I seriously was waiting for a kiss there.
I think the director of the show, or the showrunner, has come out and said that there's not going to be any more romance between the two of them. Not yet, anyway. It's kind of weird.
I don't care.
It is kind of weird. I mean,
why wouldn't you love yourself? Think about it.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know if
I
I'd
would love to
want to
be
hook
with
up with a
myself.
chick version of me.
What if she was hot?
I don't know. It's weird.
Well, after the cute moment, they all come together. Sylvie gives Mobius the temp pad because he said he's going to go back to TVA. And in his words, burn it to the ground.
Burn it to the ground.
Burn it to the ground. So she gives him the temp pad, and it was cute because he said to Loki, good luck or whatever.
Right.
And he goes to shake Loki's hand.
And they have a
Loki
hug.
actually went up to him and hugged him.
Yep.
And he said, "Thank you, my friend."
Yep.
It was really cute.
It was a nice moment.
Yeah.
And then Mobius takes off. He heads back to the TVA, and Loki and Sylvie begin their descent towards Goliath.
Yes.
Now, jump back real quick. Ravonna and Hunter B-15.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about it because I didn't really think it was that interesting.
Well, there was a quick moment where God damn it. Ravonna goes to see Hunter B-15 and is trying to get some information out of her regarding Sylvie because she knows that they had this connection. And out of the entire conversation, she didn't really get any more information, but Hunter B-15 told her that she's never going to catch him. Right? Not before. You're not going to catch up to them, not before they do. Why is that? Because you only want it. She needs it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Back to Loki and Sylvie charging at Goliath.
Yeah. Young Loki gives our Loki the dagger. That gold dagger that he had. Remember? And Loki uses that dagger and spits fire out of it.
Yeah.
To distract Goliath. But
Hold on. Excuse me. Leviathan. In Old Norse, it means damaged twig, and it's the mystical ancestral sword of Loki.
Oh, okay.
That's what that sword was.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what I was looking for.
It's okay. Well, yeah. Loki uses the dagger to distract Goliath so Sylvie can start enchanting Goliath.
Now, during all this, if you pay attention, you see a statue head of the Living Tribunal.
Yeah.
Laying out in the field. It's a huge statued head. The Living Tribunal is basically the judge of the multiverse. We have yet to see him physically in the MCU, but this is the second reference of him. The first being in the first Doctor Strange movie when Mordo had the staff of the Living Tribunal.
Okay.
Yes.
So, while this is all going on, classic Loki uses his powers.
Well, yeah, regular Loki's distraction didn't work. And
no.
Goliath put his eyes on Sylvie.
That's right.
And
yes.
he started going for her, and Sylvie just, she dropped her hand. She figured it was the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And just as Goliath was about to take Sylvie, all of a sudden this bright green light
it was awesome.
shows up out of nowhere. And what is it? We find out that it's classic Loki. Richard E. Grant, classic fucking Loki, creates an illusion of the entire city of Asgard.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was pretty fucking spectacular.
Yeah. Well,
and it was enough to to get Goliath's attention.
Oh, yeah, because Goliath, he was trying to destroy all the buildings and everything, the projections of the buildings. And Loki gets back to Sylvie and holds her hand, and she's telling him, you can...
She says, we're going to enchant it.
That's right.
And he says, I don't know how.
She says, you're Loki.
She goes, yeah, you can, because we're the same. And if you pay attention to the score, they took a lot of elements from the Ride of the Valkyries.
I was about to say, it sounds like... Yes.
I had the artist's name written down.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Ride of the Valkyries.
Cool. Yeah.
Richard Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries.
Okay. Well, eventually, sadly, Goliath does, take down the projection.
It took everything in old classic Loki's power to make that illusion.
Yes.
And he ran out of energy.
And the cool thing was he yells at the end, glorious purpose.
Yep.
And he starts laughing. And as he's laughing, we see Goliath just
take him out. See his helmet. Right.
As Goliath starts
was that really classic Loki though, or was it another illusion?
Yeah, we don't know.
Total Loki move would be that was an illusion.
Exactly. So Goliath, he starts, coming back around, and at this point, we see Loki finally be able to enchant.
Yeah, they both grabbed a branch of
Goliath.
Of the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were able to grab a hold of this branch and
this giant green flash just
and
went through it.
Goliath was barreling towards them. And once again, right at the last minute, they make it. They enchant Goliath, and the whole cloud turns this green color instead of the purple.
It's Loki green now.
And it opens up like a curtain.
Yeah, and that's where
another Wizard of Oz reference.
And that's where we see this, looks like a kingdom, a castle of some sort.
Fortress.
Yeah. And in the background, the sky looks very quantum realmy.
Quantum realmy.
That's what I called it.
And
quantum realmy.
Also, if you look, there's a white beam at the horizon.
Yeah.
And and some of the trailers and in that quick montage when we're zooming in on the big space rock.
Yeah.
That white beam goes all the way across the horizon, and there's space below it as well. So some people are thinking that could be representing the sacred timeline.
The
sacred timeline or Kang's timeline.
I don't know. Yeah, we see Loki and Sylvie start walking
Now,
into the opening there. And then
what do you think?
episode's done.
Do you think that this is in outer space, or do you think that this is in the quantum realm?
I'm going to guess quantum realm.
Quantum realm?
Quantum realm.
I'm leaning towards the quantum realm. I'm leaning heavily towards the TVA itself being in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Being in that city that we've seen in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Who do you think we're going to get at the end of the tunnel?
I've been calling Kang, but now a lot of people were talking about how it could be a variant of Loki.
Another variant of Loki.
But I'm still going to say Kang because he is in charge of timeline. Like, he's in charge of the timeline.
All right.
And he's going to be, like, he's another the big bad like Thanos. Mm-hmm. He's the next big bad we're going to be getting.
Right.
And I believe that this is going to be our introduction to him. And I think it's going to show up, like, at the very end.
Very, very end.
Like, let's say they go and they see it is Loki, but he's working for Kang. And then we see Kang at the very, very end, and it's only, like, the last, like, 2 seconds we see him step through a door or something, and then boom, it's done.
Here's what I'm thinking, okay?
That's my guess.
I think that it's going to be a variant of Loki, and not only a variant of Loki, it's either going to be Tom Hiddleston or Richard E. Grant. Leaning more towards Tom Hiddleston, okay? Mm-hmm. I think that they are going to use this variant of Loki and make him Immortus, okay? In the comic books, Immortus is a variant of Kang that had conquered all of time and was in constant battle with the TVA, and the TVA struck a deal with him.
Okay.
Gave him immortality and a section of time. Okay? Mm-hmm. And this is going to be your section of time to police. You're in charge of this.
Okay.
And then he changed his name to Immortus instead of Kang the Conqueror. I think it'd be easier for your average audience, instead of bringing even more new characters, especially right at the end of a show, let's just make Immortus a variant of Loki who is working for Kang.
Working for Kang, yeah. I think Kang's behind it all.
So the big battle at the end is going to be it's going to be a Tom v. Tom final battle, okay? And then after that, and this is because these movies, they like to repeat themselves, right?
Yeah.
In the first Avengers movie, Loki was the big bad for the movie, and then in the post-credit scene, we got our first hint of Thanos.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
So at the end of this, yeah, right along with what you're saying, our big battle at the end is going to be with this variant of Loki that's a.k.a. our MCU Immortus, and then either at the very end or more likely during a post-credit scene, we will get our first look at Kang.
I'm surprised we didn't get a post-credit scene in this last episode.
I know.
Because we did in episode 4, so why wouldn't we get it in 5?
Unnecessary.
And especially 6, I'm praying.
What were they going to show?
Yeah, that's true.
They want to leave everybody hanging for this last episode, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, all I could say is that I absolutely loved it, and I'm so excited. 2 more days.
I'm beyond excited. Yeah. Beyond excited for the last episode. And then what?
It's a bittersweet moment.
What's after Loki? What If? That comes in August.
What If?
What If series. That's the cartoon.
That's right.
And that looks
like,
really good.
What If?
That looks like some multiversal madness.
Yeah.
Multiversal madness.
Well, tonight we're going to get started on the new Handmaid's
Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
yeah,
and we're going to come at you with some of that shit, too.
Oh, yeah.
We're not just Marvel.
No. So we're going to be covering all kinds of stuff. I went to say crap and stuff at the same time, and it came out Chris stuff.
All right, well.
Let us know what you guys think. Let us know your theories and everything in the comments down below, because we love reading all kinds of different theories and people's thoughts, and you name it.
All that.
All that stuff.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
And I'm Fred.
I'm Adrienne.
And we're FnA.
We're FnA.
We'll see ya.
See you guys.